Spoke at the Pentagon saying the war is, quote, just getting started and that larger waves are coming.
And it comes as Americans stranded in the Middle East are expressing frustration. More than 1,500 U.S. citizens have reached out to the State Department for assistance leaving the region.
Meantime, here in the U.S., consumers are already feeling the effects at the pump. Gas prices now at $3.20 a gallon. That's jumping 22 cents in just a week.
We've got it all covered for you this morning. We'll start once again with NBC's chief foreign correspondent, Richard Engel. He is in Israel. Richard, good morning.
Good morning, Craig. I'm in Tel Aviv right now, and all day today we've been hearing the air raid sirens. We've seen some interceptions over this city with Israel firing its missile defense systems, as both U.S. and Israeli officials say this war is set to escalate even further. The U.S. and Israel are obliterating Iran's military and targeting its leaders this morning.
As President Trump said, more and larger waves are coming. We are just getting started. We are accelerating, not decelerating.
The Pentagon saying this morning that American forces will begin targeting deeper inside Iran.
4 days in, we have only just begun to fight.
As the war continues to expand, Israel launching dozens of airstrikes in Lebanon, targeting the Iranian-backed militia Hezbollah after it fired at Israel. It's not World War III, but every day more parts of the world are at war. Iran is continuing its strategy of firing missiles and cheap explosive drones across the Middle East and beyond, trying to widen the war and increase its cost. With new strikes this morning on an oil facility in the UAE, an explosion and fire near the U.S. consulate in Dubai, launching more missiles at Tel Aviv. So far, it's uniting a growing list of Iran's enemies. So who is running Iran? Israel destroyed a building in the city of Qom, where clerics were expected to choose a new supreme leader to replace Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, killed by the U.S. and Israel. Iran says the clerics weren't inside, but meeting remotely. The late Ayatollah's son has reportedly emerged as a leading candidate, according to the New York Times, citing 3 Iranian officials familiar with deliberations. Israel's defense minister this morning said anyone Iran appoints will be an unequivocal target for elimination. President Trump said some Iranian officials his administration was hoping could take over have been killed in the war.
I guess the worst case would be we do this and then somebody takes over who's as bad as the previous person, right? That could happen.
As the Pentagon released images of 4 of the at least 6 American service members killed so far. While Iran is clearly the main focus of this war, things are escalating quickly in Lebanon. The Israeli military has now ordered the evacuation of all Lebanese, telling them to go north of the Litani River. So Israel is ordering the evacuation of roughly 10% of the entire country, and aid organizations say about 65,000 people have already been displaced. Craig?
Chief foreign correspondent Richard Engel in Tel Aviv. Richard, thank you.
Let's now move to questions facing the Trump administration over the timing and reasoning for this war. The president and his top advisors defending the decision, but it's doing little to silence critics. Our chief White House correspondent Peter Alexander has that part of the story. Hey, Peter, good morning.
Hello, good morning to you. President Trump is defending his decision to strike Iran, and new this morning a senior U.S. official confirms to me a pivotal moment in the run-up to war. A call last Monday from Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to President Trump saying that Iran's supreme leader and his top advisors were all going to be meeting at a single location in Tehran on Saturday morning. Intelligence quickly confirmed by the CIA that triggered the exact timing for those initial strikes. This morning, with the war against Iran escalating and expanding, President Trump's attempting to silence criticism about the administration's mixed messaging.
We were having negotiations with these lunatics, and it was my opinion that they were going to attack first. They were going to attack if we didn't do it.
The president rejecting the idea made by his own Secretary of State that Israel's plan to attack forced the U.S.'s hand.
So if anything, I might have forced Israel's hand. But Israel was ready and we were ready.
This morning, the administration focusing on Iran's nuclear program.
Iran will never possess a nuclear bomb, not on our watch, not ever.
President Trump had previously warned Iran would soon have missiles that could reach the United States. But U.S. intelligence disputes that, saying Iran would not have that capability for another decade. Following classified briefings on Capitol Hill, Democrats say the White House's explanations are not good enough.
There was no imminent threat against the American people. This is a war that is going to be borne on the backs of working class Americans.
And remain alarmed that President Trump has not ruled out American troops on the ground.
I am more fearful than ever after this briefing that we may be putting boots on the ground.
Republican lawmakers are largely supportive of the current mission, but wary if it expands.
Over time and with boots on the ground, then my antenna starts going up about congressional involvement.
But skepticism on the Hill is not stopping the Trump administration from expanding America's military involvement across the globe. Overnight, announcing that U.S. forces launched an operation in Ecuador, along with the local military there to target drug traffickers. Part of the president's push in South America that has also drawn the U.S. military into Venezuela, capturing its leader at the beginning of this year. That new operation in Ecuador marks the 8th separate country that the U.S. has hit or targeted with military operations in just 13 months since President Trump took office, supported by most Republicans, but also fueling some criticism within the Republican Party, Hoda, specifically within the MAGA movement. Some longtime allies of the president complaining that he is not living up to his promise to keep the U.S. out of foreign wars. Hoda.
All right, Peter Alexander Force there at the White House. Peter, thank you.
And meanwhile, the war already rattling in the economy here at home. Gas prices jumped again overnight as Wall Street braces for yet another roller coaster day. NBC News senior business correspondent Christine Rome is here to walk us through that part of the story. Just hearing from the defense secretary a short time ago, promising that this is a war that's going to go on for some time. What could that mean for gas prices? Where are those gas prices right now?
It could mean higher prices for what you pay at the pump, and we're already seeing that. The last couple of days has been remarkable, you guys. An 11-cent jump in one day and then another 9 cents last night. So we're looking almost $3.20, $3.19 and change for a gallon of gas. You can see that is higher than both yesterday, last week, last month, and last year. And I haven't seen a big jump that much since we had the Russian invasion of Ukraine back in 2022, and that was the beginning of a real inflationary period. We heard from the Secretary of Defense and Secretary of War that more and larger waves are coming. He also says Iran's capabilities are evaporating by the minute. That could be important because Iran has threatened to start on fire any ships trying to go through that really important Strait of Hormuz. They carry all that oil through there, and you can see those red dots. Those are ships that are just parked there. They are not moving. Generally, you have, I think, 80 or so of these ships that cross that right through international waters into Iranian waters every day. Looks like 1 or 2 or 3 have maybe crossed in the past few days. So resolving that will be critical for oil prices, Hoda and Craig, and then for gas prices as well.
All right, let's talk stock market. Stock market's opened. How's it looking?
Trying to find some stability after a rocky couple of days. You've got the Dow up about 126 points. Remember, it had closed down more than 400 yesterday. Markets across the board down yesterday. The worry is higher oil prices will feed into higher gas prices, will feed into higher inflation overall, that you've got a prolonged conflict in the Middle East without an off-ramp that is very clear and visible, and you've got an escalating number of countries involved. That would be the worst case scenario. That would be an inflation kind of situation which would raise interest rates, raise energy prices, and hurt family budgets in this country, to say nothing of the death and the destruction and just the drama happening to the civilian populations. So just looking for what next steps are, and that has markets a little bit nervous, trying to find their footing here today.
We know you will keep a close eye on it, Christine.
Thank you, Christine.